What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? You already know what time it is, baby. This is your boy, the historian, Ryan Walker, as I'm known by the government by. Um, we definitely got a hot show for you guys tonight. Going to talk about this battle across the pond, some things going on within the organization, and just some things that we look for the Falcons to improve on and whatnot. But before we do that, we need to improve our viewership. We need more viewers like you. So if you are tuning in on YouTube this evening, please, 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 please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so we can continue to keep bringing content to you. We had a hot show yesterday with Mr. Sammy Smith. Please go ahead and go check that out. We have that out and about right about now with that interview with that Florida State and former first round pick and legendary college player. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. This is the Birdcage. You already know what it is. You either get right or you get left. Let's go.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
Hey, we're back. You already know how we get down up in here. We got the magnificent Birdcage crew that's going to be joining us tonight. But once again, before we get the show started, if you are on StreamYard on Facebook, go ahead and click that link so we can interact with you guys so we can see your comments. So we definitely can acknowledge you for coming into the show for tonight. But again, if you are on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe button for us so we can get these viewerships up so we can continue to keep bringing you the heavy content. And while I'm bringing this intro in, excuse me, I had to kind of hold that in. I had a little bit of a hiccup, minus the water. We got to bring in one of our heavy hitters, my right-hand man, my partner, Mr. Killian K. Dub Worthy. What's going on, K. Dub?
What's going on, Birdcage family, Birdcage listeners, subscribers, and followers? Like the historian said before, hit that like, share, and subscribe button to all Falcon fans, all Falcon family friends that you do have. If they haven't heard about us, shame on you. So you got to get that word out. We got great Falcon content coming to you tonight, and buckle your seatbelts and get ready, guys and ladies out there. Go ahead, historian.
Well, I like how you put that one out there. That was very lovely. Don't you agree? I see you got the Drake shirt on tonight.
Yeah.
As my guy K Dub said, man, go ahead and tell your partners, your mamas, your grandmamas, everybody. Tell everybody, including the law.
Yeah.
You already know how we get down with it. We got to go ahead and put our foots on those Jaguars, and skin those pussycats. You know how it go. But hey, let's just go ahead and get to it, man. The Falcons start off this week heading across the pond to London, England. All we need now is some tea and some crumpets to go along with this whipping we gonna put on these boys on Sunday. How do you see this game going before we get into these topics and break this thing down, man? I see it as a Falcons win, but I think it's gonna be more of a gut check to see how they come back mentally. What do you think?
Well, I think we got to. What I really believe is we have to go over there and rebound from what we did, the previous week, last week. So, I mean, Jaguars are reeling, and also we're reeling from a loss. But I feel like we have a better team top to bottom than they do at the moment. That's just my opinion. But we just have to put it all together and continue to repeat the success that we had in the first 2 weeks when we went 2-0. But I feel we like to get back to the basics, and it's going to be a hard-fought battle. But I believe that we have the guns and the manpower to come out with the victory.
And speaking of guns and manpower, let's talk about manpower, man. We're gonna go ahead and get to this first topic in this cage real quick. What's going on, everybody? Thank you, Anthony, for pointing that out for us. We're gonna definitely try to get that StreamYard link updated so everybody can get in here and chime in so we can see who it is. And I got Daniel Ryan Woodall says this game is a toss-up. Yeah, I believe it. It's gonna be whoever comes out that is willing to hit somebody in the mouth more than the other squad, because both teams took bad losses last week. Period. Both teams were outclassed by teams that they should have I'm not gonna say they should have boat raced, but I think that they should have at least been able to put their foot between their hip pockets and just go ahead and just kick them and bend them over and take their money out their pocket. That's how I feel. We should have been deboing the Detroit Lions, but it is what it is. On to the next. But let's get to it, man. Jake Matthews had his contract updated.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. This man, they literally have added $7 million to our, the little bit of money that we already had that was sitting right now, and they just restructured his contract. How do you feel, and the figures that Atlanta has, it's going to be about $10 million now with cap room right now. What type of player do you think we're going to probably bring in on a 1-year deal? Because we know they're not restructuring that man's contract just for good measure.
Well, hopefully we're trying to bring in some more defensive players on the defensive line, maybe possibly a pass rusher. But it could be more offensive line help because, Ritter hasn't had enough time, I feel like, to make the plays that he needs to make and be able to go through his reads and to be successful in moving the offense down the field and matriculating points. So we did go scour the league and go get one of the guys off of the New Orleans Saints practice squad. So we need to keep that same concept what we talked about, maybe off camera, that we need to go and check the other 30 teams in the league and check their practice squad and basically their next up offensive lineman. You always got an offensive lineman that's chomping at the bit, that's ready to get in there, but it's maybe a Pro Bowler or something like that in front of him, or a steady veteran that's in front of him. But all it takes is one injury, and that player will be on the field. So we got to scour the league and find great quality depth that people have on their offensive line, on their practice squad, and try to go pick some cherries out there.
Agreed. And the guy that you're talking about was offensive tackle Storm Norton. He was added to the 53-man roster. Apparently, like I said, we're pretty much the new safe haven. Like, how did I'm gonna go back to a classic movie from the Mac in the 70s. For all y'all old school babies that love blaxploitation movies or young cats who like it, everybody know, if you know about the Mac, you know about it. When he called, how did he say, he told Goldie, "You're a car thief. You're a safe haven for crows." Can't say the other word because we keeping it clean. But he called them crows. But let's be real. We the safe haven for the Saints, man. We sliding these jokers up in here, and they literally starting to pay dividends up here in Atlanta. Let's be real. Like they say, we not choosing them. They choosing us because of what they have with Terry Fontenot already. So, as they said in the Mac, how the baby doll say, "I choose you"? They choosing us now. So I just believe we're the new safe haven for Saints players, Chicago Bears players, and Tennessee Titan players now because of Arthur Smith. What do you think we're gonna get out of these retreads that's coming through here, man? Caden Ellis has been spectacular since he's been here. What do you think we're gonna get from this offensive tackle, Mr. Storm Norton?
I believe he's going to come in because we have a lot of insight. I'm sure unless he was not there. I'm not sure if he was with New Orleans last season or if he just signed this season in the off season and started with them. But if he was there in previous years, then we have some insight with Ryan Nielsen being a part of that organization.
Of course.
But I'm praying that he's able to hold a stopgap or some rotation to what we have currently on the team and can help us improve. But I do think we need to look at other teams. It seems like we are certain teams specific as far as looking at players. I wish we had a broader view because I think we need to really do our due diligence and research upon other teams across the league because we're not used to having money. We got some money to go get some guys and to help this team to get to the playoffs and to get back into where you a prominent team again, where you want to talk about teams, because it's been lonely and it's been tiresome, the last 5 or 6 seasons. So we ready as a fan base and as a city to rise up again out the ashes. So that's what we're trying to do, man. We'll see what the story is once we get over there. I feel like we should have already been in London already, but that's just my opinion. We should have been already over there practicing instead of leaving just now. It's kind of weird, but I would have went ahead and went over to London right after we left out of Detroit.
Yeah, I agree because here's the thing, you have to get acclimated with the time change. And we understand this because from our military days and some of you military vets that are out here or active duty currently, shout out to y'all that's standing to watch right now. We appreciate that. Let's just be real. When you go to different countries and you go to these different time zones, it throws your whole equilibrium off and your body has to get used to it. Point blank, period. And we understand this because, I can speak on, being out at sea. We were in Kodiak, Alaska, leaving to go to Japan. It took us, we could have burned over there and got there a little bit faster. But at the end of the day, it didn't take us that long to get over there. But at the same time, when we finally got there, you gotta look at it for what it is, man. That's just something that it just throws you off. Like it could be 6 o'clock in the morning in America, but it's 2:30 it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon over in Japan. It's a weird dynamic. And when you talk about going to England, these guys have to be able to adjust to that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just with the time change, but just everything changed. Just don't get comfortable, going back home and whatever. It's not cool to go out there and lose because we're trying to change the narrative here in Atlanta, because the last, 5 or 6 seasons, it's not been pretty. So once we got back and got our butt whooped in Detroit, whatever clothes we had, we're flying over there with you. I'm sure you already have some kind of travel bag. And we'll be taking our talents over to London and getting ready for this matchup because we're taking it serious. We don't want to be the matchup game, or even though it's early in the morning. If you're a football fan, you'll be up early watching that matchup. So we'll basically be the showcase game because we're only game on very early. So don't go up there and go all the way across that water that many miles away and embarrass the city of Atlanta. You need to go out there and take care of business. And go ahead and try to win by quarters, like we were saying last night, and just win the first quarter. Go 3 out of 1 or 4-0 each quarter. I think maybe Coach Brandt, somebody was bringing that up last night. So just piggyback off of that. That was a great analogy they said last night on the Birdcage.
Well, you got to remember this. Jacksonville plays in London every year. That's their home. And Shad Khan actually has ties with a lot of those companies over there. So they're going, even when they're sorry, they're going to get one premier game a year over in London. They're going to be at least in one primetime game, and that London spot is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? So I definitely get you when you say that. Just going through some things. And I'll say the thing that we worry about the most when you talk about London and all these other places, that they're going to have games. We're getting ready to start having games over in Germany, and the Falcons are really, because of the Mercedes brand that we have, we're literally getting ready to start taking over that area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that they're trying to make it a global game like they did with basketball, but in my opinion, that's why they call it American football, and I think it takes away from the fans that are here in America that pay their hard-earned dollar to be season ticket holders, and it takes away from the guys and the women that work their butts off, 7 days a week to try to get tickets to these games, and then you take the game away across the pond because you're trying to encourage other patrons to pick up the sport of football in a country that really don't even consider American football. They consider soccer to be football.
I gotta push back a little bit.
I'm gonna introduce you first before you push back. Welcome to the chat, Graybeard, one of the hardest working men I know. You know, we were talking about people with hard-earned dollars. I was about to give you props, but I see you ready to go in, so have at it.
Killian, I don't think they're trying to take away from the American people. I think they're just trying to expand, just like basketball, how it expanded, the way it played in Europe and whatnot. They're trying to bring in like other people to come play American football and whatever the case may be, even though it already happened. They're just trying to expand that market. Uh, I think because soccer has always been a big thing in Europe and other countries. It started getting popularized even more once it came over to the state side or whatever the case may be. I don't think they're trying to take away from it. Like I said, every businessman is trying to expand and trying to get more, or whatever the case may be. And I just, I just think they're just trying to see who really gonna be interested in our style of football, whatever and whatever. And with Shere Khan in London, I think he has a little bit of stock with one of the football league over there. So that's why they pretty much play in England every year.
Hold up. I got some people that's Jag fans watching this tonight. You mean Shad Khan?
Yeah,
They literally just started coming at me, said, make sure he get our owner's name right.
My bad. I mean Mr. Khan. I'm saying Mr. Khan. I think he has some ownership with one of the MLS teams that over there. So that's why they religiously play over there every year.
Now wait a minute. Now I'm gonna say this here. I don't mind y'all Jag fans making y'all point known, but understand this, baby. This is the Birdcage. This is a Falcons platform. We open to everybody, but remember, y'all in our house. Y'all are guests in our house. So realize that. So no disrespect, but just don't get out of pocket with your comments tonight. I'm letting you know that off the rip. But
right.
Oh no. It's gotta be said because we fair about everything up in here. But I gotta make sure I let them know they're not finna get out of pocket with the Birdcage crew. Now, let's roll with it. So
I understand where you're coming from, Graybeard. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't understand the direction that the NFL is taking, but they've tried NFL football across the season. You know, it had a Euro League. They have all kind of leagues they've had overseas.
Right.
It don't hurt. So I'm just trying to say is where do you make the bulk of your money? Here in America. That's why they call it American football. If they want to tune in, they can go get them an NFL package and they can tune in. We don't need to be taking our game over there. I'm just saying. That's just my opinion. I mean, the opinion of the NFL league is they're going to expand it. You're going to get used to watching the games overseas. Like we got to watch our team play in London. We can barely get money to go to the Birdz. Who got money to fly all the way to London to see our guys play?
Agreed.
It's inflation right now.
Yeah.
Very high.
Well, some people have saved their money from the start, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got some people that were financially able to save their money and put money away for those games because that's an expensive trip. Now we ain't talking about the tickets that you're gonna get to the game. We talking about just the trip alone to the pond.
It ain't cheap.
Here's the thing, even if you go across the pond to, even if you have an all-inclusive type of package, it's still gonna cost a pretty penny because you're talking about international travel. So But the one thing I give respect to those folks over in England, they support all the sports that's over there.
Right.
Doesn't matter whether it's cricket, soccer, tennis, anything that you could think of, they support it all the way around.
Yes,
But
they.
speaking of support, let's go ahead and get to these. Let's go ahead and get to these Falcons. Let's talk about the support that the run game has to have this week. It
Pivotal.
has to be a state. It has to be a staple, pretty much getting through with this defense or whatnot. We have to be able to open holes this week. We have to be able to create running lanes for Bijan and also Tyler Algier, and also keep Ritter up in the pocket to where if he needs to take off and run, he can take off and use his legs. So the run game is going to be vital against that Jaguars defensive front. Even though they're not ranked as high this early in the season right now, they still have that same nasty defensive front that they had last year, led by Trayvon Walker and Foye Oluokun, former Falcons. So, K Dub, I'm gonna start with you on this. With the running game that we have, what do you think needs to be the key with riding either one of these young backs?
Well, like I said, we got 2 home run hitting type backs. So I think I like the rotation that they have now, where Algier gets a load and bulk of the carries, like traditional carries, and Bijan is more of your wild card. He's kind of can line up in the backfield. He can swing it out, for his lineup outside as a wide receiver. I mean, you can do him in a whole mix of ways. Use him. So I think how they're using him is a good example of how they're using them right now. But they need to continue to use them. Don't forget about them and try to get cute, what they may say sometimes, and continue to know what your identity is. Your identity is to run the football down people's throat when they do decide to load the box. This time, Ritter, this week, please hit your open receiver and block for him. They block up front. We hit the open receiver. He goes through his reads. That's simple.
Graybeard, I got to answer this one, and I'm going to let you chop this one up. Now, Daniel, you're saying Foye won't stay in coverage with this man. You do realize that Foye Oluokun was a safety in college as well as an outside linebacker. We converted him to a middle linebacker when he came to Atlanta. This man runs a 4-4, a legit 4-4, a legit 4-3. He and Ezekiel Elliott were track teammates in high school in St. Louis, where they're from. So that dude can literally fly, even though he's a big boy. So I got to disagree with you on that. He can run with Bijan. He's run with some of the best running backs in the league, whether he was in Atlanta and since he's been in Jacksonville. So he's actually one of the linebackers that's great in pass coverage as well as covering the run. So I got to disagree with you on that. Graybeard, what you got?
I agree with you on that, man. I agree with you on the thing you just made, but I think the key for this game for us to have balance. I think we gotta have a good balance with the pack and run, even though the run's gonna be the focal point. Because you already know Jacksonville already scouting up on the run. Trayvon, and the one thing people don't realize about Jacksonville and their defensive line, they're fast. Trayvon Walker can hawk down freaking Bijan Robinson. I don't think people realize that. I don't think people realize that their linebacking core is pretty solid and quick as well.
Mm-hmm.
Their linebacking core is arguably better than ours. And that's just what it is, even though ours was on the come up or whatever. So it's important for Arthur Smith to see if we having line issues to make those adjustments right then and there, and don't wait till halftime or don't wait till the third quarter. He needs to make those adjustments immediately, especially with Ritter. And I do agree with K-Dub. Ritter needs to get the ball out quickly, and he needs to make sure he reads through his progression. If the first one ain't there, check for the second one. The second one ain't there, check for the third one. The third one ain't there, either you running or you throwing that ball out of bounds. I'd rather have second and 10 rather than second and 17.
Well, I got to agree with you on that. When it comes to that, we're going to get to the passing game in a minute. But right now, just, we got to focus on the running game because It wasn't there last week in Detroit. And what we're saying, and I think Ritter needs to be able to use his legs a little bit more, because here's the thing. To me, like we all know Mariota had good footwork and good speed last year. You couldn't take that away from him.
Yeah.
You know, it was just the fact that he didn't hold on to the ball,
Hmm.
and it's just in a situation where um you just have to, how can I put it? You have to be able to throw the football because your legs alone are not going to just get the job done. It's going to keep a defense honest because you saw what happened when Green Bay decided to pin their ears back and Ritter decided to start taking off running. They were able to, they were confused. And I feel like you need to use him more on play action and rollout. The thing that made him strong in college was play action. Don't have him just sit back and drop back and hold the ball for 6 seconds. If he's moving and if you notice, he's better when he's moving throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Haven't y'all noticed that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's got to get better with being able to stand in the pocket, but we've got to be in a situation to where we can use his strengths to our advantage this week when it comes to that Jacksonville secondary. Because here's the thing, you can't do the same thing twice with the Jags. You definitely can't.
No.
I mean, I feel like he's gonna have to be on the move majority of the time because of our strength of our line is run blocking. So his pass blocking is going to be suspect unless we go ahead and bring in some reinforcements like we're trying to do over the next couple of weeks. But he's going to have to move with that pocket, have a moving pocket, and he has to get it out fast, man. You have to have you got to be able to go through your reads, but also have a dump off, have something where you got a hot right. Well, okay, this play is going to break down. Either I'm going to throw it away, or I'm going to, X, Y, or Z. When that happens, I mean, because we need to do something. We cannot continue to take sacks, take negative plays, take plays that's going to kill our drives. I mean, that's what the slow starts result from.
I got a question.
Okay.
Quick question. Do you think our passing game will open up the run, or do you think our run will open up the passing game against the Jags?
It'll open up the passing game because Jackson's greedy on that defensive line, and they're going to be trying to pin their ears back to make plays. And what has to happen is Desmond Ritter's got to hit those passes up the seam, and he's got to hit these out routes, and he's got to start throwing the receivers open, opposed to just trying to wait for them to get open because guys in the NFL are just too fast. But our pass protection is this. Our pass protection is suspect as raisins and potato salad. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. Arthur Smith is the type of dude that makes potato salad with raisins. That's just how I'm calling it. Until he shows me otherwise, he's the potato salad. He's the potato salad and raisin man to me. Like you got all the ingredients to have the great potato salad. You got the mustard. But since we got Bijan, we got to say Dijon mustard. We ain't gonna use Dijon mustard in no potato salad. I know it's been done before, but we not doing it. You got the yellow mustard, your eggs, potatoes, your celery, your relish, and your potatoes. You know what I'm saying? You have all of the mixings and the trimmings, and you got your salt, your pepper, your paprika. You got all the stuff to mix. But the next thing you do is sprinkle raisins in it and mess it all up. And that's pretty much what he's done with his play calling. It's literally just like putting raisins in potato salad. And if anybody eat that mess, y'all got problems.
Serious problem.
So I'm cutting up on Arthur Smith, but he's got to earn that, man. He's got to get out the doghouse with me because when you have something working, you go away from it. Like you got all the ingredients working, and you just killing. You a chef, man. And let's just be real. You've got to be in a situation to where you got to start cooking up some things a little bit better.
I mean, like I said, we all know, you're not a fan of Arthur Smith. I mean, that's on
I know. I respect it when he does well. I give him his props.
I'm just keeping it real. I mean, I'm thinking of him, but you have to show me. But I'm not gonna throw you on the bus because we are 2-1, and we need to continue to stay on the right side of the two. So we need to stay on that good win column. So, but the bus will fall out. You don't get us to the playoffs, I'm on the fire your behind bus. Fire you ASAP. But right now, I feel like we got something It may just be he need to let some. Can he just relinquish the play calling duties? That's all I want you to do. Be a head coach, oversee the team, and let someone else call those plays, man. I think in crucial situations, what he's doing is overthinking. So when you overthink, you're thinking wrong. So in that situation, let somebody else call those plays, and we'll be calling some very nice plays because they someone that doesn't overthink, that's direct with the call and get the calls out, and then we can continue to keep moving the drive down the field.
I agree.
I agree. I mean, I agree.
And here's the other thing. Ritter has to be, and the thing is this: Ritter has to be in a situation where, you know, he's got to start trusting his abilities, and he's got to start. He's got to start because your clock has started now. You've gotten through your first few jitters in the first games. You have to. It's at this point now. I get that you technically he's still a rookie because he didn't start last year like that. So I get it. But at the same time, all right, you've had enough games now under your belt to see what the speed is like, pretty much for you to gauge. Each game is different. You've got to. It's a flow to it. It's just like a fight. Just, you know, any if I got any boxing fans in here, you already understand what this is. It's just like a fight. As soon as you come out, I'm even go back. I'll go back to Hagler Hearns. Let's just go back to it. You got two devastating punchers, which Jacksonville has an explosive offense. We have a bully style offense. They both know how to throw punches and throw haymakers. Now the question is this: what type of rhythm are you gonna see? What kind of bounce are you gonna see? Are we gonna see a lot of chip, 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 bang? Are we gonna see that, or are you gonna come out just bringing the street fight to these guys right off the bat? And when you talk about these offensive coordinators that we have, we've got to be able to. You got to know coming out of the gate, you got to hit these boys in the mouth because Jacksonville is a team that, you know, they're built like the Philadelphia Eagles were when Doug Peterson was there. And winning championships and taking those boys to the playoffs before they ran him out of Philly. And if you look at it, that defensive line is built just like the Eagles defensive line you see right now. It's built exactly like that. Some guys are not household names, but you have to remember these guys definitely are very explosive, very mean at the point of attack. And let's just be honest, they show up in a bad mood. So Ritter has to get rid of the ball, and he's going to have to hit these guys with deep passes, the Captain Caveman. He's got to find Drake London. I think we need to get Scotty Miller involved in the offense this week with his speed.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on that.
I think the key is for me, we need to get Ritter in rhythm early. We can't just wait. We got to get him in rhythm early and get him comfortable. Anybody watched it in Cincinnati? When he can rhythm, he's hard to beat. Yep. He's already comfortable. He can pretty much gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna pick you apart. And I think Austin Smith has to do that. I mean, doing some zone read to get them off pace and whatnot, so they won't be clouding the box so much, and then hit him over the top, over the head. Do like you can do some bootleg. We don't do bootleg like that, and we have a bootleg quarterback. So I'm like, for me, man, it doesn't make sense to me why we don't use all of his attributes like that.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at what Brant just said. So, Coach Brant,
no cost.
Go ahead and take a look at what he just said. That's cold-blooded. That's
that's basically what I'm trying to get at. That's the overthinking that comes into play, Coach Brant. You know, we're saying the same thing. It's just in the crucial moments, he'll be calling an okay drive, and then boom, in the crucial moments, why you overthinking stuff? Go in and put the points up.
You calling stuff.
But pick back off of what Gray Beard was saying that as far as the plays, I think we need to come into this game with at least 10 to 11 scripted, very highly scripted plays. The plays that we worked on all week, the ones that we were highly successful in, those are the plays we need to run. That worked very well in practice. If we can run those 10 scripted plays and get us off to a fast, hot start, I believe that'll help us out going forward.
Yeah, we got to punch them in the mouth before they punch Hank in the mouth.
Yeah. Agreed.
Definitely.
And here's the other thing. Now we're talking about Ritter right now. We've got to get to, and I'm sliding into it. This offensive line versus this Jags defensive line. See, this is I'm as much as I hate to say it, and it sucks, even though the dogs are undefeated right now, but they can't get their pass protection right to keep Carson back up. Now
Mhm.
we're seeing the same thing with the Falcons. The difference is Georgia's held up a little bit better in the pass protection. I'll give them that. But
Mhm.
when they look bad for trying to protect Beck and he's getting hit, that's not good. It's the same thing with the Falcons right now. The only reason why I'm comparing both of the teams is because both teams are run heavy type of teams. Georgia has a balance now. Atlanta is trying to find that balance. And again, I'm gonna say this. Arthur Smith said in one of his press conferences on a podcast, and he said, "Yeah, I started off with Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs used Joe Theismann, who was a scrambling quarterback before he broke his leg catastrophically. And a lot of folks don't know this, but if you go back to his playing days, Joe Theismann was returning punts when he was playing for George Allen in the 70s because Sonny Jurgensen and Billy Kilmer did not want the young guy to come in there and take their job, and they were just nasty to him. So that was his way to get on the field. But when he finally started playing and starting, there was a play called sprint bomb rollout. Pretty much all it is a play action. Is a play action rollout play. And once he steps to the side, he lets it fly, whether he's going down the same side that he runs to, or he's throwing it back across the field where Art Monk was running a deep post route. That type of play needs to be added to what Ritter does because Ritter's good on the run. So here's the thing, Arthur Smith, you're supposed to be an offensive guru. You have Dave Ragone. Guess what? Go back to your old mentor. Pick up the phone. You still cool with him. Joe Gibbs ain't dead yet. Call him. Ask him how to design that sprint rollout bomb for Desmond Ritter. Start helping your passing game because you got all the tall receivers to go get the ball. But you got Scotty Miller, who would be your Charlie Brown, which is a speed guy. And, shout out to Charlie Brown, South Carolina State alumni. But let's just be real. When are we going to start being creative with plays instead of just calling pass plays where you're throwing 50-50 balls? Literally, we throw 50-50 passes to these guys.
I think he's trying to be too cute with the play calling.
Man, we ain't got to be cute. We need to go ahead and just look. We need the GTD. Get the draws. Quit being cute with it. Go ahead and get the draws.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I
I
think
don't need to take. Look, we ain't taking them out to dinner. We finna just go ahead and get the cutty in hotel. Get back home.
Hey, I agree with you. I think like you can. I think like Brent can. He called the wrong play. I mean, the right play got the wrong time, and then he'll call the wrong play. It just doesn't make sense. And then for me, if we want to beat Jacksonville, and if we want to really get them off their game,
Mm-hmm.
we really got to start doing the stretch plays with the run game and whatnot. And like you said earlier, roll Ritter out. Roll the pocket out too. They won't expect that. They expect that to just keep running downhill with freaking Tyler Algier or go to the outside with Bijan.
Start using Keith Smith.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. While we got all these receivers there, have Keith Smith to have a chip block on your linebacker. Get off of that block because Keith Smith is good for that. Have him sit in the middle of the field in that little open zone. If you're not going to have him throwing deep and he's not got the time, let Keith Smith start catching passes out of the backfield, sitting in the middle of the field, being a safety valve where he can pick up 3-4 yards for Desmond Ritter. Make it easy for him. Simplify it.
Like I say, man, we need to go back to the bread and butter. Go back to these older formations. The power I. I mean, we got a fullback, man. We got running back. Let's get that mouth type of offense, man. Get new. Sometimes you got to get innovative, but sometimes you got to take it back to the basics, man. Line them up. You got a great offensive running team, and run it.
I think he's trying to be Andy Reid, and he's not Andy Reid. I mean, that's what it is, man.
Nah, he ain't. Wait a minute. I hold up. Andy Reid grew up in that West Coast offense.
Right.
I'm sorry, the Midwest offense. Okay. Excuse me. The Ohio offense, Cincinnati offense. He grew up in that. and you have to understand, we don't have players that are going to run timing routes.
Nope.
He got guys that are just bullies that can just bully smaller corners or corners that aren't physical. And it's like you want to be physical all the way around. You have to have some speed and you have to have a little finesse with your game. You can't just bully everybody. You can't just pound everybody. You
No.
gotta sprint. Hey, you gotta sprinkle a little fairy dust in there. You know, you gotta be able to wiggle with it a little bit. You know, get a crowd a
Yeah.
little something to dazzle with, a little razzle dazzle.
I mean,
But
yeah.
speaking of razzle dazzle, we got to get into the red zone and start scoring. It's got to improve. Gray, I'm gonna let Graybeard start with this one, and then I'm gonna toss it to you, Killing.
Okay.
Gray, what you got?
If we're at the 2-yard line, run the ball. You don't wait pick not to freaking run the ball. I'm not saying you gotta, stretch play. Ritter, this can go perfect time for Ritter. Hey, go on read. Boom. It worked against Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, for me, man, you don't have to be like Cooper Creator when you're at the freaking 2-yard line. Because first of all, we ain't got that much space to begin with. They pretty much already know we're going to do one or two things. Run the ball, 50-50 ball. That's pretty much it. Because you don't have room to do too much. And I think Arthur Smith be trying to go creative and go innovative. He be innovative out of a touchdown. We end up getting 3 points. And I'm freaking tired of it.
I feel this is my thing. And like I said, I'm a huge boxing fan, so I take it back. I feel like you're going away from what literally works. You know, just let's go back to the event. Let's go since we A-Town down ATL all day, every day. Let's go ahead and do it like this. Let's go back to the Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe series.
Whew.
You know, it broke my heart to watch Evander lose the series the way that he did. Now, the first fight, you sat there and tried to stand in front of him and you got beat down. Pretty much that's what happened with Detroit. You got cute with your offense and you got beat down. And you had to stand in front of these guys and take that beating because you didn't make the adjustments. Now, you have a chance to make the adjustments with the same type of defense. That's Jacksonville is very physical, just like Detroit, very physical. So guess what? Just like Evander did in that second fight with the fan man incident or whatnot, guess what? You gotta beat him with rhythm and speed. Use his advantages to his disadvantages. Like these linebackers that like to run, let Ritter run out, like you said. Let him roll out. Let him tire these linebackers out. Josh Allen, Foyer Luakon, get Trayvon Walker tight. Because once they get tired, you start hitting them with those haymakers and letting Algier run it up the middle, or you let, like Killian would say, you let Drake catch these slants and start beating up on these linebackers.
Drake.
I love it when I love it when you hit that note like that, bro. You be killing it. But so Killian, so here's the question I got for you with the red zone. We got these tall trees for receivers. We have Jonnu Smith and we got Kyle Pitts in the red zone. I don't want us to be cute. If we're in the if we're within the 5-yard line, we need to just be running, no passing. If we're at the 10-yard line, I would say we got a little room to maybe do some small passing. How would you construct your passing game from the 25-yard line up to about the 10-yard line? How would you construct your passing game to put you in the chance to score?
Well, like you said, it just depends on situational football. I want to, i.e., run the football just down their throat. I'm gonna keep going back to that because that's our identity. But if we're gonna pass it, I say get them out on the edges and get in. Like I want my receivers to, since they're so big, go beat some people up. We may get a offensive pass interference here and there, but officiating don't see every single play. So I think we need to beat up cornerbacks. That need to be our MO. We're gonna get called, we're gonna get seen sometime, but we need to be aggressors. Out there and basically fight for the position and go ahead and make some plays out there on the outside. But I also think that we need to implement more quarterback runs. The guy did run a 4.4 at the combine. Why doesn't he have a few quarterback design runs in there where he can get loose and use his leg also? But that's just my opinion. But going in between 25 and in, well, like you said, when it get past when it gets towards 5 yards and going in, 5 yards to go, we're running. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna run it. We're gonna run it multiple different backs. What we gotta do is have a rotation. I understand people like to get in a rhythm, but when you got these kind of running backs, and then Cordell finally comes back, you can just alternate who's going to get it. You wear these teams down. You wear these defenses down. I don't care how good your defenses is. If we continue to keep rotating backs, i.e., like Georgia or some of these other programs that rotate backs, you will wear these teams down. So about the third quarter, mid-third quarter, and on, you start putting up points because they get tired of tackling a Bijan Robinson. They get tired of tackling a Tyler Algier. They get tired of tackling Keith Smith. They get tired of tackling a Cordell Patterson and others. So it's like wear them down and then continue to beat their behinds later in the third quarter and going into the fourth.
Yep. That's how you got to do it. And now we got to get over to the defensive side of the ball now. We got to get to the best side of the ball. Let me put that out there. I'm a DB speaking. I'm always gonna say defense is the best side of the ball. I don't care what you say. Defense wins championships. Offense sells tickets. Phil Cox actually said that on one of the episodes, and it's the truth. But let's get to it. No disrespect to the offense, but I love my defense. Now, the front seven has to generate pressure. We have to generate pressure. Ryan Nielsen's not going to be able to bring, as Coach Brandt and I talked about it earlier off the record. We talked about it yesterday and we talked about it today. Nielsen is bringing 4. You're not going to be able to bring 4 and win ball games. You're going to have to mix it up. You're going to have to blitz a Jesse Bates or blitz a Richie Grant if he can actually wrap somebody up. Like they say, when what was that health education when they had in school for all of us? What was the motto? Strap it up. He need to learn how to strap it up when he wrap it up when with these quarterbacks or these running backs that he's tackling. He's got to make plays. This is a guy that has literally been. You make a good play here, and then you just make about 6 bad plays. Like, you got to be more consistent. At this point, I need DeMarco Hellams in there, or you put in Jalen Hawkins. You put in the Hawk because he's shown that he's more consistent, and he's a ball hawk. So either way, I just feel like we need to see more involvement with that, with the safeties being able to blitz with this, with our front seven. We've got to generate pressure with Bud Dupree coming. You got to put D'Angelo Malone in there to start blitzing. You start using the young buck. Zach Harrison's got to be. You need to have plays where these young guys are using their speed and their raw ability while they're still learning the game to be able to make plays.
Yeah, I feel you.
K-Dub, go ahead.
No, I feel you. I'm piggybacking on what you're saying. I mean, you're saying a whole lot, and it's generating thoughts in my mind that, like I said, on the back end, we need to continue to rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying with the running backs, rotate these safeties. We're gonna bring in different safeties, bring in different looks, because when you watch film in the film room in the NFL, you picking up on tendencies. But if we got a tendency to switch it up, and we got a whole different player in there, that throws off what the film that you've been watching. So because we got different players coming in, giving you different looks, and they come in with different attributes. I just feel like we need to if we're going to get these young guys experience, if we're going to develop them, they can't develop sitting on the bench looking at Microsoft screens and stuff. They need to get and make plays. I mean, and continue to develop, because if they're going to get burnt, they only going to learn if they get burnt, not to get burnt again. Or if they miss assignment or blow an assignment, the only way you can learn from it is to be out there. I feel like we didn't pick these guys in the draft or bring them in through free agency or the off season to be sitting on the bench. If you're on this roster, if you're part of that 53, you need to be making a contribution to the Atlanta Falcons week to week in some form or fashion. That's just my opinion.
And we ain't talking about the contributions to the booty club that's up the street called Magic City. Man, look, we know that's a staple for Falcon players to be up in there. That's a landmark. We
Yeah.
don't need you making contributions there. We need you to make contributions on Sunday or on Thursdays when you out there on that football field on this defense.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of the GTD club, you got to go ahead and go get them quarterbacks.
True. I mean, for me, man, I think if you go back and watch Kansas City and how they played Jacksonville, that defensive coordinator was 10-5. Their top pass rusher was in the backfield so many times. Trevor Lawrence was freaking having PTSD. Every time he looked to his right, he seen number 95.
Well,
They
you got to
kept
remember. Well, you got to remember Trevor Lawrence. If y'all paid attention to it, even back to his college days, Trevor Lawrence is a guy that's been clean from high school, mainly in college, when they played. But if you remember the national championship game that LSU got those draws, and you remember sitting there watching them, they didn't put up many points against that LSU team because that defense wasn't elite, but it was good enough to generate pressure and it made him uncomfortable. If you look at it, he's not a guy that likes pressure. It's guys that do, guys that don't. And he's one of those quarterbacks where he can be mildly shook, but the thing about him is he's like, I'll give him this. He doesn't like pressure, but once he gets hit in the mouth and once he experiences that, it clicks. It's just like if you ever remember the movie Rocky, he's just like Rocky Balboa. Once he sees his own blood, he turns into a whole nother player because that wasn't a fluke that they came back in that playoff game last year against San Diego the way as bad as he played in that first half till he got his jockstrap knocked loose. And they just woke him up. We've got to be in a situation where we hit him and we keep hitting him and we don't give him a chance to wake up. Yeah. That's what we have to do.
Yeah, go in there for turnovers.
Yeah.
Now Nate just asked a question, and I'm gonna let Glenn get this one here. He says, do you think they're gonna use Nate Landham in coverage or have a safety cover the opposite tight end?
I think they're gonna have Nate cover them. I actually think they are. It might be a combination of the two.
Yeah, they could be taking turns.
Cause they're gonna be taking turns. Cause you got to think about it.
It depends on the package.
Yeah. Cause you got Jonnu and you got freaking Kyle Pitts. So
no. Nate Landham is on the defensive side of the ball. He's a linebacker. It's all good.
My bad.
So what he's asking is, do you think Nate Landham, who's come in, who was playing for Troy Anderson when he was hurt? Yeah, that's the linebacker that was playing for Troy Anderson when he was hurt.
My bad. It depends on how fast you pick up on the defensive team. And well, we just brought him in. He looked
good to me in that Carolina game and Green Bay game. He looked good to me.
Yeah, he did. He did. But I think in certain packages, I think they'll cover him. I agree with you, man. I want to keep more Malone. I think Malone can be an X factor on this defense, but he gotta get the rep. He gotta get reps. He had to, especially with Troy Anderson possibly gone for the year. You got to get this man some reps.
I'll say this: we all know Debo can play. We know he can, but and I'm gonna keep it real. I know I'm gonna piss Antonio off when I say this, and it's all good. I'm gonna say it like this: if he ain't cracking the starting lineup and he ain't getting reps, he ain't that good.
Ooh.
Not for this defense. He might fit in somebody else's defense, but here's the thing. You've been here. You were hurt last year. You got a whole season to rehab, do your thing. You're in a situation right now where you can earn yourself a job. Troy Anderson is out. Now, they're going to keep Troy around because of his speed and his football acumen, and he's physical. But here's the thing. Can Troy be durable? Because if you notice, Troy's had injuries since he stepped foot in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's not durable, durability, think about it, availability is the best ability. And Troy, has been injured up and down. He's not used to taking that pounding. Now, can Malone secure a job? Because here's my thing. If him and Ebiketie cannot secure a job this year, know what?
They're gone.
Bounce them.
Yeah.
Gotta bounce him because if you can't even secure the job while you got a guy down and you're bringing in stop gappers to come in and they're taking reps from you, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what you see going on. I mean, if you see them double dipping back into the free agent market, who's sitting at home on the couch or who on the practice squad, that's a telltale sign that somebody's not getting something done right. So, I mean,
For
that's just it is what it is, man.
yeah, I hope to see him on the field I hope to see him on the field on Sunday because, like I said, I just think he can bring another dynamic to the defense. But like you said, he may not fit the defensive scheme that we have.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of that, I mentioned Troy Anderson. He's out on IR now. Unfortunately, Cordell Patterson is still out, as myself and Mr. David Shelton. You guys check out the Broken Wing report. It's a little something new that we're starting here. Myself and Mr. Shelton, we're gonna be coming to you guys. Hopefully, we're not coming to you guys much this year because if we come to you, that's not a good thing. If we have that show on a regular, that means people are dropping like flies, and that is the last thing that we want to do. But
We do.
we we do have the Broken Wing report for you guys presented by the Birdcage. So we will be talking in depth. If you missed it, David Shelton is a former physical therapist, has over 30 years of experience, and owned his own clinic for over 20. And he's just newly retired, and he definitely brings a lot of value to the table where he talks about the injury, pretty much the recovery process, different surgical procedures, and the timetable for the athletes that we have coming out of Atlanta, what the physical therapy grind is going to be like, and when they're going to return to the field and possibly be 100%, or at least close to being 100%, throughout their tenure. So we definitely want you guys to check that out. We already got one episode out. We're probably going to have another one pretty soon. So we definitely want you guys to check that out. But Anderson's out on IR. You have, as we said, you got Caden Ellis. You got guys that you're bringing off the street, and CP still out with that deep thigh contusion. He can't be explosive with that thigh being jacked up, and he relies on being a bully, speed and power. Killian, I want you to talk about this one here. Do you think we see CP, or do you think they're getting ready to trade him away with with a little bit of value that he does have, or do you think they're saving him for later on in the season?
Well, I mean, to go back on him being injured, I'm still trying to figure out how he got hurt. We haven't seen him play or nothing. So, I mean, if you have an injury lingering on this long and you're this long in the tooth, I'm really trying to offload you. I understand that people are saying that he's a Falcon favorite. He would love to stay in Atlanta. I would love to stay in Atlanta too. But guess what? This is a business, and if you're not producing for us, especially if we go out here and win in London, you don't play, and we're 3-1. I mean, that's more evidence that we can you can be gone. We can go get something for you, either a third, fourth round pick, something to help our value when we go into the offseason. I mean, because I feel like if it's a team, if we can give a team the banana in the tailpipe and take you on as a special teamer or whatever it may be, or running back, whatever they may want to use you for, then I feel like we need to do that. That's just my opinion going forward with the CP thing. I feel like we have our running backs. They're young, stable. You did your part here in Atlanta. I mean, we appreciate your time, but I just feel like this is a red flag, him being hurt as long as he's been hurt, and it doesn't get any easier as you get older to recover. That's why I'm thinking about the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. Will he even come back and be at 100% and want to actually play again? Because it's tougher to recover and get back healthy at an older age.
Most definitely. Well, what are your predictions? Because we got the final thoughts happening right now. What are your predictions for Sunday?
If we come out aggressive, and if Arthur Smith called the game the way it should be, I expect with the dub. I expect at least 27-19. That's my final prediction.
Crazy. I was going to say something like that. 27. Oh, 28, 28, 20. I don't know. That's something. I don't
I
want to
mean,
say.
the reason why I hit it like this is because Trevor Lawrence is gonna come out. He gonna come out swinging because we already know how Dougie P rolled. He gonna come out swinging. The question is Arthur Smith gonna come out swinging? And I think for us, we're gonna have our secondary gonna have to come up huge for our team. But if we can get pressure, if we could get pressure on freaking Trevor Lawrence and get about 3 sacks, I think we're gonna walk out of there with a dub.
Mm. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
me and
posting
Coach
the
Brett.
scores. Coach Brent just posted 27-20
Yeah, I
for
said 20.
me.
So me.
I'm gonna be the cockeyed optimist. I got to go left field. I got to be different from everybody in this group.
All right.
I don't think it's gonna be that close.
Hey, I love it. I love it.
Look, I don't think it's gonna be that close
I
because
love it.
Jacksonville's still trying to figure things out. Yeah, we know Calvin Ridley gonna be out there looking for blood. I'm
Yes,
not
he
worried
is.
about it because we got Bankhead Bates back there patrolling the back end. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. I think Atlanta rolls in this game. I say 31-17.
Okay.
I
Well, I
like
like.
that. I like that.
Because
I
at the
like
end of the
that.
day, it's like this. You got to
We,
score on all 3 facets of the game. I
Agreed.
feel like we do for a pick six, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I believe I believe if Jesse Bates don't get the pick six, it's gonna be Jeff Okudah that's gonna get it. Okudah was solid last week.
He was.
okay. Okay.
He
It
was
could,
solid. He on a pitch count, but the brother was solid. So all I'm saying, like I said, I really feel like we really are gonna put this thing to bed. You understand what I'm saying, fellas?
I think we're gonna get a punt return back in the game. I think we're gonna get one.
That might be something else we jump on.
I hope.
I didn't think about that when you said a punt return. I really wasn't thinking about that. If I think we need to keep D Alford back there as a punt returner.
Yeah,
If we're not gonna use him in the and pretty much in the defensive backfield, you gotta put him back there as a punt returner
and he
because he's very solid as a punt returner.
he showed you that in preseason.
Artavius, great minds think alike, baby. Great minds think alike, big dog.
Yeah, man.
But no, so you already know how we get down, man. We're gonna have the halftime show for you guys. Like I said, we're working on some more interviews. We're gonna probably try to space those out because we don't want you guys to get confused. But yesterday we definitely had to give you Mr. Sammy Smith, and please check out that interview. Very, very interesting
Great
interview.
interview.
And Mr. Smith has his autobiography, has one of his books coming out talking about growing up, going through Florida State, the Dolphins, the penitentiary unfortunately when he made some bad choices, and how he was able to turn his life around and become successful after making those mistakes. So please check that out. Sammy Smith, one of the legendary college football players out of Florida State. Him and Anton Smith and Warwick Dunn were the 3 best running backs we got out of Florida State. That's just my opinion on that. I'm saying Anton Smith and Warwick Dunn are the best running backs we got out of Florida. Everybody gonna be like, well, what about Devontae Freeman? I ain't a Freeman dude. I'm sorry. So
Hey, just quick
it
one
is
quick
what it
note.
is.
Just
Well,
one quick.
Turbo got Freeman as his background
Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
I got to give him a little bit of grief, but we definitely are looking forward to having this party line on Sunday.
Got you.
I already got these Jag fans texting me right now. I got my aunt that comes on the show. She supports us or whatnot, but she pulled for her hometown team. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be some heavy trash talk with her, my cousin Toy. I ain't gonna drop your real name, but everybody know you as Toy. But that's my guy. And Coach McGriff's gonna join us on Sunday. By the way, I meant to tell y'all that.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So we got a person that did our first interview. We did our first interview with Coach Terry McGriff, who runs American football over in Mexico. His own uniform company. We still out here doing some big things for Coach McGriff, but he's going to be joining us on Sunday, helping us break down the aftermath of the game before we have everybody coming in for this party line. I'm speaking it into existence. So,
Hey, for
got
anybody that
to.
want to know, Detroit is beating the break off Green Bay 24-3 in the second quarter.
Detroit really might be a good team.
It the start of the second quarter, it's 24-13. I mean
I,
We
24 to
better
3.
hope.
I
All I'm
felt
gonna say is this: we better hope old boy Devontae Adams don't go to Detroit because they're looking at him right now leaving leaving Las Vegas.
Ooh, boy,
With that
well,
defense and you add him to what they already have, that right
that,
there wouldn't be good for the league. But
that, that's a problem.
you know what? As long as Detroit fans suffered, I think they deserve some good stuff, just like us Falcon fans. We deserve some good stuff too.
Fact.
But we are going to bring you some good stuff on Sunday. I want to thank the magnificent Birdcage crew for joining me, K-Dub, Graybeard, and also you viewers that tune in to us and take time out of your evening to kick it with us, just to talk a little football, laugh. We're extended family. We are extended family out here, baby. Might not agree on everything, but we extended family. So you already know what it is. And Scoop, I love you, but your boy better produce on Sunday because I'm coming for his throat. We ain't gonna mention no names, but I'm coming for his throat if he don't put up nothing.
Oh Lord.
Yes, sir. But anyways, man, we love y'all. Y'all be easy. And we definitely are looking forward to having you guys on Sunday on the party line. So for me, I'm the historian Ryan Walker. We getting ready to get to it. And rise up. You already know how we get down. You either get right or you get left. We out.